Building Committee to order, please. Today is Wednesday, geez, I don't know what date it is.
17th.
Wednesday,
Well, retirement doesn't.
June 17th, 2026, at 6 o'clock-ish. Here, roll call, please.
Randy Daigle,
Here.
Tina LeBlanc. Here. Christine Boney, Lauren Andrews. Here. Gina Sakala, Bob Prasadi, Janet Cushman, John Daigle,
Here.
Kate Flanagan,
Here.
Danielle Gerard, Dean Gauss,
Here.
Kelsey McGuire Bruce, Steve Macchio, Amanda Pickett, Marie Pissner, Charlotte Riley. Here. Scott Ryder, Jacqueline Valley. Here. Jeff Kaczynski.
Here.
Justin Hopkins, Antonio Ciavarella,
Perfect, here.
Chris Stipely.
All right, did everybody get a chance to review the previous meeting minutes dated May 20th, 2026? And if there are any comments or corrections? If not, can somebody please make a motion?
Motion. Second approved.
Any discussion?
Who made the motion?
I did.
Any discussion? Show of hand, all in favor? Anybody against? Anybody abstain? Thank you, unanimous. We're going to move in right into the presentation by the architect. It's been several weeks since we've met with him, so I'll let them take over.
All right, thanks, Randy. Good evening, everybody. Jeff Kaczynski, Principal Tecton.
Antonio Ciavarella, architectural designer at Tecton.
Handed out a thinned down version for a summer version of our progress. So it has been some time since we met last. Thank you, John Day. We've been working with John and the Enfield Public Schools on populating the grant applications. There's a lot of information on the next couple of pages here, but we are, for the most part, 98% complete. There's a couple minor estimate summary items that I just need to do from a budgeting perspective, not the detailed estimates. Those are all complete. And then I just need to proof a summary that I thought would be helpful to attach as part of the grant applications for each grant application, because we're not exactly sure how they receive them. And I want to make sure there's a PDF that summarizes the entirety of the master plan and project so that they understand the context for each of the grant applications. So that's in your packet as well. So I'll go through this list relatively quickly, and then there's some work that we still want to do after the grant application, just related to the reimbursement, because we've got some clarity on the special legislation. I think Representative Santinella was here at one of the meetings, I was the last meeting, gave a summary of kind of where that stood, and we have now the signed bill from the governor with the special legislation for the two projects. Hazardville and Prudence Crandall made it retroactive. What's important is retroactive. I don't know exactly how this works, but they're on this year's priority list, basically. So as soon as you submit the grant, and assuming that this community supports it, it's already approved for those two. So there are three other ones that are going to go in by the deadline, June 30th. The intention is to get the same, basically space waiver special legislation in the next session. So the good news is it doesn't necessarily affect anything timetable-wise, and we're getting all of the grant applications in this year to lock in 2026 base rates. So I'll go over that in a little bit more detail in a few more minutes, but just going down this agenda that, and the handout that I provided, basically all the green is completed, so we've been through it before, the environmental, the ed specs. If anybody has any questions, I can certainly circle back on those, but the format, unit format estimates, thank you, Mark and Gilbane, they validated all the budgeting costs, so we have all of that detail uploaded to all the grant applications. The estimate sheets that I was talking about, that a few percent left we have to complete, is there's a state Excel form that they just want to see the population of some basic numbers. So I already have 2 out of the 3. I'll get the other 3 to John tomorrow morning. And there's a slight technical glitch on the state side with one of the grant applications. They're working through that, but otherwise in good shape there. Flipping over to the second page in our update, really just summarizes the grant applications. So what I did do in the blue font, I think everybody at this table is familiar with all the incentive incentives that add to the reimbursement rate. I just listed them there. What I thought we should do as shifting the gears towards more of a informing the community is really simplify a one-pager or a takeaway where it says base reimbursement, incentive reimbursements, so that you could see cumulative, in a very simple way, how much the total project cost is and then how much the community is going to pay. Because one of the pieces that we did not include in our base or in our reimbursement calculations or rates was the housing incentive, which is going to be it's going to be retroactively applied to the 2 projects that are already approved. So meaning you get another 5% if you comply with that regulation, which we think the community will with all the activities that are happening in Enfield. So that's kind of on my plate after we get the grants out of the way. I just thought it'd be helpful that way. Some of the material that we presented in the past is rightfully so was detailed and in its explanation, but I think simplifying it now in a very simple way so people can understand total project costs and costs of the community and tax impact is going to be our goal. So.
Can I interrupt 1 second?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I failed to introduce Marshall Oz. We are, a lot of us know him, but he's with the Gilbane. He is Gilbane.
Yeah, been with Gilbane 28 years, senior project executive. I've been involved with Enfield community since 2011, built a high school, JFK, and we're excited to be part of this process here. And I know a lot of faces are on the table, and I'm always happy to be back in Enfield.
Thank you.
Get rid of
Great
it.
to have.
Yeah, sorry.
Good to meet
I
you.
missed that one too. So the blue is what is kind of the work ahead graphically that I think we want to prepare in advance. I know there's been some communication. I know Scott's not here tonight, but there's been some communication from him in our office and then back through Randy. So we'll get that going as far as making sure that the facts are out there on the project and kind of where we landed with all the grants. So long story short is we're in really good shape. The conclusion for us is to get these grants in, which we certainly will have them in and press the button. I know Steve has to actually press the button and submit, but so we'll have those in, I think, within the week or so, certainly well in advance to the 30th. So I can answer any questions, but that's more or less our update. I think as we have more dialogue with Scott and Randy, as far as what the needs are from a graphic perspective and the facts of the project, as you start spreading the word and building the support or information campaign, we'll be here. So any questions? Comments? Okay, it's a good report. A lot of work's been done by a lot of different people around the table. But I think, again, thanks to John for living with the electronic grant application portal, which hasn't been easy to navigate. So, not that I've ever done it. Most superintendents do all of the work.
Wow.
So
That's cool.
that's it for our update.
All right. So we're on schedule for everything, meetings, approvals, you're not waiting on anything. have all the invoice, have any new invoices or anything, or?
So, we've been paid, for the, invoices that were the most aging. I will have to go back and we're kind of getting to that conclusion, so I'll coordinate with our office and update any last invoices, and kind of make sure we're on. But we've been paid a lion's share of what was, out, and aged. I think there was just a miscommunication in the actual PO in the contract, but that's all been resolved. So we've been paid, and I will make sure that we update any recent invoices. So thank you for that. I know Christine was helpful in that.
So we knew this was going to be a short meeting, but we needed to have the meeting. So let me just make sure we touched upon my things I had questions.
Sorry to jump back in. I guess as we go through what we now know for reimbursement rates, I'll coordinate with Chris, you, Randy, and then if the town does want to look at it again, we were intentionally conservative with our projection on the reimbursement rate, but if they want to revisit it from a tax impact, they certainly can. But I think what we have and what we shared is accurate. I'm calling it conservative on the town side. But once we do these, once we understand the state and town share,
Right.
we can talk about that at the time. So
I know there's one thing that Scott really needs, that's going to be part of the questions that the public has. Between that and what's their share, what's taxpayers' share.
Yep.
Other than that, I think we're ready to go.
Yeah. No, we're in good shape here.
Yep. Anybody have anything they want to discuss or bring up, or questions or concerns, any rumors? All right.
Is there any kind of an update from the PAC? Have they done anything? Are
Well,
they
they're waiting for a couple of things.
organizing it all?
Yeah,
or-
they're organized. They just need to have some, they want to know what the reimbursement totals are and the taxpayers portion, what they're responsible for. Those are the two things that Scott mentioned that was just a concern, I guess, if anything else.
Right.
Yeah, it was the final cost, reimbursement rate, and the tax impact to the residents.
When is the fair? Did that already happen?
Weekend of the 10th.
10th, 11th, and 12th.
July, right?
Yeah. So do you know if they're gonna have a booth there?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, because I know we usually give them a booth.
Yep.
So we should just coordinate on if graphics and, just to make sure we have time to get you whatever you need.
Okay, yeah, it's 10th, 11th, and 12th.
So you are gonna have a booth. Okay.
Any other events?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones that are coming up.
I was wondering too, on the Tuesday night concerts at the band shell, would they allow us, the ECAC to allow us to?
That's a good point, I don't know, I could ask.
Because it's going to be, it's all people
It is.
in the age range we might want to be targeting.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
There was a lot of people here last night.
Yeah, I think Trailer was here last night.
Trailer, yeah.
Yeah, let me ask, that's a great idea, because that's every weekend, like you said, that's an older crowd. If we can do that and the school kids, that'll be phenomenal.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Good point. All right, I'll ask the town. And that may be just flyers or handouts and stuff. We could do the boards, but it'd be more something to hand out and have them take home and then take questions and then to follow up.
Yeah, and then we have, kindergarten orientations in August.
Okay.
And all the back to school events, and they're all staggered among every school because of the sister schools, so that's gonna be like the second week in September-ish. So those are the events that we wanna, and then we have the farmer's market on Sundays.
Gray is doing
playground meetups with any young child over the summer. So it's like, I think it's 8 weeks of Friday playground meetups for people with littles. That would probably be a good.
All right, I'll talk to Scott.
Does Scott have a list of these
I was
activities?
just gonna say, let's make sure it's
Well,
together.
we can get them to him.
Yeah.
He's the new media person for EPS, so he will have all that.
Okay, yeah, and I'll write these down, but if there is a list, it'd be great for us to have it, so if
Yeah,
you guys
so
need
it's
things,
fine.
we can definitely, participate, Okay. Those are like the smaller, more, I mean, there's various different levels, but like the playground meetups, those are, because you're kind of
Yeah, you build it.
designing for, buildings or planning these buildings for people that don't necessarily exist.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Right, if they come with babies and toddlers.
right.
They're not thinking about it. They're at the playground, you're like, cool, they're running this play group and I'm gonna talk to you about my child's future. It might boost enrollment on time too. I mean, we're always looking at people like,
now where do they do the playground?
they're going across Enfield, different playground every week with a different theme.
Oh.
Yeah, if I could get you the flyer, I would, but I
Yeah.
can never find their flyer on their website.
Oh.
I'll find it, I'll send it.
Thank you.
Maybe I'll take that.
Yes, you should. And the people facilitating here are two parent ambassadors, so that's nice too, because then they're parents that are running it, so it's not like it's us. I know they wouldn't be, but it's
Right.
nice to
Yep.
hear from them too.
No.
Yes.
Actually, okay.
Yeah, you go fly.
Yeah.
All right, that's great. Anybody else have any comments or anything? Wow. Guess the next one will be our next scheduled meeting.
If we needed, that would be
3 weeks.
probably too soon. Week's the 8th.
And that's before,
And that's the week before, or a couple days before the 4th of July party, or event.
yeah. I'm open, you guys want to, even if it's a
Need
touchdown.
anything? Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's just keeping track of if anybody needs anything.
All right, anybody have any comments or questions, liaisons, committee members?
Are we
Anybody?
6 o'clock for that? Or we don't know yet?
What day is it?
When we go to it?
I think it's 6 o'clock, yeah.
Well, it was 7 o'clock upstairs.
Yeah.
All right, anybody have any good to the order they want to share? All right, anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
To adjourn, second.
Well, we're still fighting over that?
Any discussion? Show of hands, all in favor? Anybody against? We abstain. Thank you, unanimous.